Today is another day. I want to share a simple template that I've been using on my farm and it's working for me. I want to share it with you so that you can also do it and then repeat it to have a very profitable and a good record keeping system on your farm. But to help you to know whatever that is happening on your farm at any time. So as you can see it in this document, okay, the first one is the breeding side. So with the breeding or crossing, there's that the very day you cross your pigs, you take note of the date. So assuming you cross your pigs on the 24th March 2023, that's why you know, and then the sow ID. Here to what I mean is you know the kind of sow you crossed. If it's the second one, and then usually with the ID, what will help you to do it is if you use ear tags, you know those ones are numbered, so you know the exact sow you crossed, and then the boar you use. That's why I indicate that as a boar ID, so you know the kind of boar you use to cross the sow. And then if you're lucky enough and you know the exact gestation days or the farrowing period, okay, like the length of the pregnancy, you know it. Assuming it is 112 days, you take note of it very well. And where you have seen me put in danger, that is the expected farrowing date. And it's in danger because that one is very critical. If you miss it, you can lose all piglets on your farm, or you can lose all piglets resulting from the pregnancy. You get it? So assuming you cross it on the 24th March and then the sow is expected to farrow on the 13th of July. And then the SM is the start monitoring date. This one I call it the start monitoring date. So I start monitoring my page 3 days to the expected day. So on the 10th of July, I start monitoring it. And with that monitor, it means I have to be there on the farm to check to see that all things are going on well. Okay. So you might ask, what's the importance of even knowing all these farrowing date and breeding all these things? So number one is it helps you to check inbreeding. From knowing the kind of sow and then the boy used, you avoid crossing siblings from that particular side. You get it. And the second one is it also helps you to safeguard your piglets from crashing. When you know the exact day your sow will farrow, you always be on the farm to help her and then to also help get yourself the healthy piglets you so much desire. And the next importance of it is that it ensures correct matching between the boar and the sow. Example, you can change them when the pair is not productive or compatible enough for you. Sometimes it's not that your pigs are lazy, but they are just not good pair. If any of them is not helpful, you can release them off their duty quickly. But this will take time. So having known this with the crossing and then the breeding side, the next system I keep is the following records. So following records, don't be scared of the number of titles I have here, okay? So it is just simple. The first one is date, and then the date one here is the very day the sow followed. That's the date, okay? And you know the kind of sow from the ID you use, and the number of piglet born, that is the litter. So in this case, you can see that there are 14 piglets, and you should also be able to identify the number of males and females from that particular litter. In this case, I have 8 males and then 6 females. And you should also get to know the average weight of the piglet at birth. That is, you weigh all the piglets and then you find the average among them. And if they have been also death recorded, you get to know the idea of the dead piglet. And if they are males or females, you take note of it so that you get to know the total number of dead pigs on your farm. Dead piglets on your farm rather, okay. And one thing you should also take note of is the death of the piglets. And if they died, what caused the death? Is it due to crashing by the sow or they were born dead, that they're still born? Okay. So you should also be able to know all this. And if you're also weaning your pigs at 4 weeks or 6 weeks old, you should also write know the exact day. So that is what I wrote win date. Win date. So in this case, it is the 4th of May 2023. But before you win them, you should get to know the average winning weight of your piglet. If they weigh 6 kg, you take note of it before you weigh. You know, there's a recommended age of the piglets where you're supposed to weigh them, else they wouldn't grow as you want it. Okay, or you have to feed them a lot to get them on the right track. So you might also ask what is the importance of knowing the following dates and then keeping all these following records. So the number one is it helps you to know good mothers from the bad ones. How many piglets are born safe and healthy by the sow? Is the sow known to crush her piglets after farrowing? Does she even attack her piglets herself? You get to know all this if you keep the records well. And it's also a way of differentiating among your pigs on the farm. Prolific mothers can be separated from the non-prolific ones, okay? And that's when you get to know that due to the number of litter and then the size you have it on the farm. If the sow is not giving you the number of litter you want, the standard number of litter, that means you can just isolate that particular sow and then take it off, curl it out, okay? And then The third one is it also helps you to care the sow to avoid wastage. Maybe you don't have the record row, so you can't actually detect or the age of your sow. It means you will still be crossing it or breeding it. And you know, weaker sows, it gets to a time that they lose all the pressure and they are not able to, exert the needed pressure to bring out the piglets. They are even able to die with the piglets with them. So you should also be able to know that and know that at this stage I have to kill this sow and release it off her duty. With the killing also, if the litter of that particular sow, because you're keeping records, if the litter starts reducing as pregnancy progresses, in that case, you know that no, it has reached its maximum, and then there's no need to keep it on the farm, and you release it to go off by taking it to the market. So the third thing we also look at is the vaccination. With the vaccination, to name it as vaccination records or husbandry practices or medical and veterinary practices. You can also group them into date, activity type, pig ID, number of pigs, and then by who. And then the date is when you undertook that particular activity. Okay. And the activities could be that you gave iron to your piglet, you castrated them, you dewormed them, you even gave vitamins or antibiotics. Did you clip their teeth? Okay. And then you should also get to know the kind of pig you administered or you gave this practice to. So in this case, the pig's ID will be very important so that you know the exact pig you treated or did something to. And the number of pigs, for instance, if they are piglets that you gave irons, if they are 16, it means you have to know that this kind of pigs, I gave all of them the iron on that very day. Okay. And then by who? The by who here, sometimes you see mine, for instance, I asked them to go and do it on my behalf. So what happened is I can do it myself, or my sister will go and do it go and do it on my behalf, and then the district veterinary also can also go and do it on my behalf. But you can also consult or let a fellow farmer who is also close to you to go and do it if you trust the person well. But this is not always recommended for you. And you might also ask, what's the importance of keeping all these vaccination records and then husbandry practices? The first one is it helps you with the withdrawal periods. So you don't sell pork consuming residues of medicines in them. You know, for the pig meat to be safe, the medicines you use should have been used up before they are slaughtered. Okay, so if the time is not up and you sell such pigs to the market, it means people are going to consume the medicines and it will lead to something we even call the antibiotic resistance. Okay, that is if you use antibiotics, it is going to lead to resistance that will not be good for your consumers. Okay, and the second one is it also helps with retreatment if the first treatment does not work. Because you have taken note of the first treatment, you know that if I continue to give the same medication, it means it's not going to work, so I have to change it. And that is also one of the reasons why we keep records. And it also helps you avoid overdose. For instance, if you have different veterinarians coming to your farm, especially in our part of the world where we are not able to get the reliable veterinary all time, there will be a time you might be forced to change veterinarian. So in that case, if your veterinary, the new one comes to the farm, he gets to know that you gave this kind of medications to the pigs not long ago, and if I should give the same thing, it is going to have implications on the pig. In that case, they don't do it, and that is to avoid overdose. That will subsequently lead to kind of complications on the farm. And the next reason is knowing who administers the pigs helps you to keep them accountable if something goes wrong with your pig. If a veterinarian came to do it and then there's some kind of deformity with my pigs, I get to know that this man came to do it. So next time, I have to alert him to come and correct his mistakes he did if it is correctable, or I just avoid it altogether. And the next one is also helps is it ensures regularities in vaccinations. You don't doubt about the next activity to do because you are keeping records. You take the book, you look through it, and you know that no, for the past 3 days, this is what I did. So the next activity will be this, and it will be on this date. You get those are all parts of the vaccination records you are supposed to keep. So having known this, I move on to the all these activities, they are all costs that you are incurring. So we move on to the next activity, which I call the expenditure records. So with the expenditure records, you know that it's also grouped into date, item, quantity, unit cost, and amount where applicable. You get it. So if you bought something on the 10th of May, for instance, here I bought the item was fish meal. So if I bought fish meal on the 10th of May, that means I also have to indicate the quantity I bought, then the unit cost. Okay, so in this case, I bought 15 bags and the unit cost was say 700 cedis. So I multiply it and then I get my amount for that particular time, that particular fish meal I bought. And then if I bought something also on the 15th of May, something like wheelbarrow, where maybe there was a time your worker will request that carrying the feed on his head is so stressful, so he needs a wheelbarrow, and you went to buy this wheelbarrow. It's also part of the farm, so you are calculating it as part of the cost at that particular time. So assuming you bought two wheelbarrows and then they have the individual cost. So you multiply them, you get the amount. The rice band and then the cost you can also have fuel cost. cement, vaccination cost, and then even maintenance. Maybe there's a leakage and you ask somebody to go and do it, the mason to go and do it on your behalf, or the carpenter to go and work on the roofing for you. They are all part of the maintenance cost. And then the water bill and electricity, if you have light where you used to heat the piglets on the farm or the pigs on the farm, they are all part of the utility cost you incur on the farm. And definitely you will pay salaries if you have workers on your farm. So they are all part of your expenditure and they should also be recorded as such. Something as simple as this, but doesn't cost much. So with the vaccination, you can see I put 5 years. So there are places where charges are made per pig treated. So let's say where you are, if they treat one pig, they take you five. That means if you have 35 piglets and they treat each for 5 cities, that means this is the amount you're going to pay for it. Okay. Yes, in some part, that's how we do it. We have the exact amount, or we have a defined amount per pig treated. So in that case, you don't doubt or you don't challenge the one coming to treat for you. So they are all part of the cost. So having known all this, knowing your cost, calculated everything, and then having your farm on the go, you might ask, why do I even need this expenditure records? After all, it is my own money. This is why you need it. You should know your farm at hand. At the end of every farming season or year, you should be able to know how much you spent on your farm. This will help you later decide whether it is a profitable thing you are doing so that you can continue to do it, or you improvise on old things that are already on the farm. Then the second reason is it checks theft. If your worker is being challenged to steal something on the farm, because you know when everything will be used up on the farm, he is afraid to even go there. And it's a way to actually check such people. And the third one is you'll be able to compare cost of goods used on your farm from the last year and then the current year, so that you can also adjust your production. And then even if to revise your pricing model, you quickly do that to stay profitable in the business. So these are all part of the reasons why you need to keep proper records on your farm. And I must share it with you. Having known your cost and then everything running smoothly for you and it's time for harvest, let's rejoice here. Your sales are ready to make. So with the sales, that is whatever money you make from your farm, maybe, and in this case, it is just pigs you are selling. Let's say you are selling pigs, not pork. Yours is just the live pig you are selling to your customers. So whenever there is a sale is made, like the very day, you take note of it, so that you get to know that on the 13th May, I'll sold this pig to this particular person at this amount. And knowing the date, you also get to know the kind of pig you sold. Maybe you could use the ear tags you use to identify them, or the category, maybe say grower, a piglet, or even a fattener. You get to know it, okay? And then the live weight. Let's say yours weighs 50, and then where you are to you price your animals based on live weight or kilos. So let's say 1 kilo costs 25 cedis or 25. So in that case, your pig is weighing 50. So 25 by 50, you get to know the exact amount you get for your farm. And you also know the customer or the person who came to buy the pig from you. So in this case, I put my own name there, Francis. I bought my own pig, and this is my details, my contact. So if the person want to trace back, you can easily call the person and then verify if there's something going on. Okay. And you might also, as well as the importance of even knowing all this, yours is to just make your money on the farm and then go. No, but you need to know there are reasons why you need to keep all these records. And some of these reasons are that you will know the profitability of your farm. Definitely. If you are making losses, you adjust your cost and pricing, or you just jump out of it quickly to save yourself. The second one is you will know your ideal customers, especially those that buy frequently from you. Knowing why they source their pets from you will help you serve them better. You can also give a call when your products are ready for pickup. And the third reason is you can save your credibility. What is not from your farm cannot be attributed to you should there be any issue. And if a buyer came to your farm and right after they left, there is an outbreak, you can easily trace the person, and then if there's the need for corrections, you can correct it and then to have a safe farm or save other farms that are around you so that the same person doesn't go around spreading the infection. So these are all part of the reasons why you put measures in place. So pig farming is a like they said, it's also science. So with science, everything is you try it, you test it, and then if it is working for you, you keep it. So far, this is what is keeping me, and I'm able to know if I'm making profit or loss on my farm based on this simple records I've shared with you. You can also let me know if there's something you really want to see and I've not done that. You can let me know in the comments, and I wouldn't hesitate to make a video to even explain better for you to understand it.